Hell, Satan.
All right, this is back for part 2. What was that? Hell, who?
Lucifer.
Yeah, I fucks with that.
Jesus.
I'm fucking with it. Yeah, the morning star.
Same person. Jesus. Lucifer.
The Lord of Lies. So, we're back again for part 2 of our video on the Annunaki, Africa, and all kinds of stuff in between. Cultures and how the parallels of all of them and how they've lied and how they've flourished. So, we were talking about Thoth. I love Thoth, by the way.
Oh.
He's my favorite. Right. Just so y'all know, I will tell you this, that me and J.A. still have an open connection to Thoth right now. And we're probably about to go talk to him here and just commune with him. And it's getting to where we're having a personal relationship with our God. Maybe y'all should too. It's a good thing to do. You can find a lot of power and a lot of guidance that way. It's like Luke and Obi-Wan and Darth. You know, it's whatever side you're on. But the Anunnaki, the ones that came from the skies, you had Enlil, Enki, Nakarsa Hag, or whatever the fuck her name was, and Ninti, and Ninti, yeah. And this is the mother. In the first video, J.A. was talking about the divine mother. Well, you have the feminine energy divine, but the physical divine mother that all of humanity came from that one woman, and that would be Ninti, which was Enki and Enlil's sister, Anu's daughter, Enlil's wife. Now, they were listening.
I think I brought up Inanna.
Inanna is a part. She's a part of that as well.
Yeah, I had mentioned that something that I had channeled from her, and I can't wait to get into
that. Yeah, she's the one
that.
But
I don't want to jump the gun and get in front of your.
No, you're
what
good.
You're about to say.
I like talking. I like open discussion with you, my brother. But Inanna,
I think this is a subject that you know more about, so I'll let you run.
Inanna's in there as well. She's really actually closer deity down to the bottom where Thoth is. Thoth, for some reason, in the tree, even though he has no parents, is like down here under Enki for some reason. But I think it's because he embraced the darkness. I think it's because he embraced the darkness.
He's balanced.
Yeah,
darkness and light are equal within him. It's not overly polarized to one direction or the other.
That's so good.
Which is the goal. Which is where I would strive to be every day, is to find that balance between darkness and light.
That's actually pretty beautiful because I spent about an hour today talking to a friend of mine about balance.
Wonderful.
It wasn't very esoteric. I was telling him just the reality of it is you have to balance things out. You know, if I drink beer, I cannot drink beer and only drink beer that I become out of balance. If I do anything outside the ordinary, if I exercise, if you just like do nothing but exercise, it's gonna become a point where you become completely exhausted.
Right. You have to rest. You have to eat properly. I mean, you have to balance that.
Balanced diet, balanced exercise. You know, balance, harmony. Same thing. Harmony would be the octave sound wave vibration of
feng shui.
Balance. It's so fucking beautiful. So, anyway, every time we mention Thoth, bro, we go. That's what it is. Anyway, Enki.
That's my dude, man.
That's my boy, man. Thoth. I mess with Enki too.
I mean, me and Odin are like this. That's my pawpaw.
He is a pawpaw.
He's my pawpaw.
He's a pawpaw god.
I mean, he can be really harsh. You know what I'm saying? He has a warlike nature to him, and he really puts you through hard fucking lessons. But he's my pawpaw ultimately. But me and Thoth, Tahuti, that he has taught me so much, man. I'm really becoming equally as close to him as I am with Odin. So it's really hard for me to say who's my patron at this point, but I'm loyal to my original choice.
And that's saying something. I'm sorry, but I'm just saying something because I know how strong your connection is with Odin. I mean, this man has a real strong connection with Odin, and to know that that's how the Thoth thing is just it. I have read the whole Egyptian Book of the Dead. Well, what I got of it in English, which you probably lost a whole lot out of it, but still I've read it in the form of English, translated from Greek. actually. So at some point it got translated a bunch of times too. So
Yeah, it's funny. We always bitch about the Bible being retranslated and
yeah,
retranslated. All these other texts are too.
yeah, just as much. But the thing is that they don't deliberately take anything out. Just the translation loses it.
Yeah,
Now,
because there's no dogma and no agenda behind it.
yeah,
Like there's no Vatican playing a fucking global game of mental slavery with these ancient texts,
yeah.
other than trying to prevent you from reading them. So.
Yeah. The Vatican will take it and then like edit or translate it and lose it and then be like, why the fuck is that word? How did that word stay in there? Get that out of there.
Yeah.
One of my favorite words, logos. Oh my God, what a beautiful word. What a beautiful.
It didn't need to be translated. It needed to be left alone because there is no English equivalent for it. Word is not the same thing as logos. Logos has so many meanings. We're getting off topic again.
We are, but now that we're here, we have to do it. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was.
The Word was with God, and the Word was God.
Yeah. Okay, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. The Word is truth. The Word is sound. Change all that. Replace the word
truth, knowledge,
okay, it becomes
message. Yeah. It has so many meanings.
Yeah, logos has like I believe it's 21. I want to say it's 21. It's 20 something.
It's just like the word love. We have one English word, love. In Greek, there are 7 kinds of love. 7 words for love. They all have different connotations, They have totally different meanings. But again, when you come to English with all this shit, it loses its context. It loses its, like the idioms that they have. Like we say in English, it's raining cats and dogs. It's not literally. That's an idiom. Yeah. And the Hebrew language has idioms. The Greek language has idioms. You understand? They have these phrases like that when you translate them to English, they lose their meaning because we don't know the idioms of the culture.
We don't know their culture. Like, we don't know what the fuck they like.
We weren't there.
Yeah, we don't know. Like, you know how motherfucker call them, "What's up, son?" or "What's up, dog?" or some shit like that. We don't. Yeah. Who knows the fuck? They probably say, "What's up, cat?" back then.
The word "gay" just in the last 20 or 30 years has changed its meaning. It used to mean happy. Now it means homosexual. And that was just in a couple of decades it changed the meaning that much. Imagine 2,000, 10,000 years how much words change their meaning.
The word queer doesn't even mean homosexual. It means odd.
Now it does.
Yeah, because the media told you it is.
And in 20 years it'll mean something else.
Yes. It'll mean.
So how do you know what the original context and meaning was? You just have to go by your fucking intuition.
I watched this great video today of the dictionary that predates the Webster's was called Black's Dictionary. And
wow,
this is the dictionary where you get
That's not politically correct.
Yeah, that's what fucked me up.
African Americans.
That's what fucked me up. It said Black's Dictionary. I was like, well, I'm surprised they allow that, but they don't allow it. You don't hear nothing about Black's Dictionary. You hear about Webster, the slave owner, Webster. That's the one you hear about. Now, I'm gonna give you a good example. In the movie Malcolm X, there's a guy who's witnessing to Malcolm Little, aka Malcolm X, trying to get him into the Black Nation of Islam. And he shows him, he lays it all out in front of him. He takes the black, and just so happens the Black's Dictionary. He says, go into the Black's Dictionary and look up the word white. He looks up the word white, and it says the darkest color on the spectrum, black. It said that. It said dark. It didn't say black. It said darkest color on the spectrum, and it was just a lot of what white is. It's. Then he said, now look up black. And so he goes and looks up the color black, and it says the beginning of colors. White was the darkest of colors, and it is on the color spectrum. But they teach you that it's the white, it's the lightest. And they take the black, and then in the Black's Dictionary, it tells you that black is beauty. It does. It says beauty, and that's what makes me think of Thoth when he talks about the darkness.
Right.
He talks about black being being the brightest star.
In that reference you're talking about, he said that like he's been through multiple incarnations, and like when the vessel dies, he goes into the darkness. And basically through that he can choose what happens. He can choose his next incarnation.
That's so beautiful. That's the most powerful shit.
And we've always been told go to the light, but he said, I don't go to the light, I go into the darkness. and from there I can decide what I do next in the next life.
That's unbelievable.
And there's so many directions that you can go with interpreting that and discussing on that, but again, we're not trying to go there.
Yeah, look. So I mean, the Black's dictionary talks about dark being the brightest of light, black being the brightest of light. It actually said that. Then it said in the Webster, he said, now go look at the Websters. The Webster, now keep in mind, the guy Webster, he was a slave owner, for real. The guy has put, he goes, look up the word white. In white, it goes, purity. To tell no lies. It said,
Is there an agenda there?
It said the brightest light. It said heaven. It said synonym in heaven. Okay, now that it said white synonym heaven. Okay,
now a racist determines what these words have their connotations towards, and their
exactly
what is associated with these words, black and white.
Yeah,
a racist fucking white slave owner of black slaves decides this.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're still a problem here.
Why the fuck are we still going over it? Why are we still using? Why ain't nobody fucking rallying, going, we're no longer going to use Webster's dictionary?
And so
fuck that.
they're worried about a Confederate flag,
they're worried about
or a Civil War monument that means absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Which, by the way, you're upset about because the media has told you to be through neuro-linguistic programming,
polarity,
subconscious programming, and they've told you that you need to be upset about this. They've chosen the issues that you're going to be upset about and programmed you subconsciously to be upset about them through their fucking
MK Ultra preordained bullshit.
NLP, look it up.
One last thing on the Websters. You went to the book on black, death, darkness, deceit. That's what Webster wrote as black.
Yeah, the white slave owner.
Yeah. So
racist.
What I'm getting at is there's so much bullshit being thrown at you that you don't really know unless you stop fucking worrying about man-made information. Just let that shit go and go to the source of all.
Right.
Go to the infinite intelligence of the universe. And me and this guy will tell you, if you go and you have the faith and you go to that, it's going to relay it back to you,
right.
back to your receiving station. It's going to download it, and you're going to fucking wake up with it.
Language is just a set of symbols that we've all kind of agreed upon their meanings. Because
exactly.
They have no absolute meaning. It's only what we agree upon at the time. And in 10 years, we might agree that it means something else.
Exactly.
That's the whole point of this.
Exactly. Logos also means symbol.
And there's this thing like that darkness means evil, bad, negative, and that's not so. And that light means good, pure, holy. That's not so. They just are what they are. They have no polarity to them. They just are what they are. They're opposite ends of the same fucking battery. You flip that thing over and it's the same battery. They're just, the universe naturally has this balance.
Okay.
And in actuality, there's more dark energy than there is light energy that makes up the universe.
Tons.
But we won't even get into that. It has no good or bad. It has no good or evil. It just is.
If you question our opinions on this, remember the Book of Acts, out of the darkness and into the light. What was it? The voice, the face of the deep was void and null.
Yeah, out of that darkness was formed the universe. Was formed what is now, the planets, everything that is. First there was darkness and then there was light.
It was atomic alchemy. It transmutated from the darkness to light.
In that darkness was the energy of creation. From the darkness.
The birth of duality. Birth of duality. Damn, man. Man.
All right. So
I know we were supposed to talk about the Annunaki. I'm gonna try to throw something in here about these guys. But okay, creation chamber. Man, I love doing this. I know we're all over the place tonight, but that's the way it feels because our thoughts are all over the place, because our feelings are all over the place, our emotions are all over the place, because we know the truth.
And we've been really doing like a shitload of ritual.
We have been doing boot camp over here.
And so like our conscious minds are trying to catch up with what's been going on. Like we've been getting these downloads from the spirits. And like as we sit here and talk, like shit just comes up that we're like, God damn.
Yeah.
That put together just now, So And we're being reminded of things we already knew and just kind of clarified on those things, confirmation, synchronicity, etc.
And it's probably the deity's ways of leading us to say whatever they want us to say.
Yeah.
We're just going to say whatever pops in our head. Generally, that's how me and him are. We're never going to be a guy with a pre-written speech. That's never going to happen. We're going to go up there and we're going to freestyle that thing.
And it's just going to be uncut. You're not going to have to wonder, who is J.A. Ragnarson? You're going to get it right here. I'm going to show you who I am. I'm not going to filter myself.
That's right.
And
Filtering is fake. It's false. It's not reality. It's not truth. That's the problem, and that's why we're so far away from truth. Is everyone feels like they have to filter the other. They got to filter this person's opinion. They got to filter this person's idea of a word.
Romans 12:2. Do not be conformed to this world order, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Ooh, player.
You heard me? Okay.
The Annunaki. I love them. I love the Anunnaki.
We're still going to title this the Anunnaki.
We're still doing it because we've talked about them like 10 times. We just didn't go in as much.
Briefly. We
Enki,
mentioned them by name.
Enlil was essentially the scientist. He was the head. Anu put him over the land, and that was, I guess, supposed to be better than the water. But
he became the Lord of the Water. Enki did.
Yeah. Ultimately, Enlil was
you're talking about Enlil. Okay.
Yeah, Enlil was over the land, and him and his sister were doing all kinds of scientific experiments trying to make a fucking slave worker. And Enki, the one over the water, he was a little irritated because he thought that he should be over the land, but he embraced his new position, and not only that, he helped create the human race. He figured out what Enlil and Enki couldn't figure out. He's the one that come together with a special, I would say, magic, alchemical kind of spell type stuff to mix the way they did. It's kind of, if you told somebody, they'd be like, man, you fucking lost your mind. Because you're talking about a Homo erectus,
now this
almost ape, but
this is gene splicing between what had already evolved on this planet,
right,
the Homo erectus,
right,
which is like midway between ape and modern Homo sapiens.
That's right.
They took the DNA from these beings that were not capable of the higher cognitive thinking that we are. They were kind of there and kind of not. Like caveman, per se. I mean, I don't want to dumb this down so much that it seems ridiculous, but I'm just trying to explain for anyone who is not familiar.
Probably caveman be the best way to relate
caveman,
to it.
I guess. Okay.
Something.
So DNA from this that has evolved on this planet already with the Anunnaki DNA.
Blood and
Splice, gene splicing in test tubes, and you have paintings and artworkings depicting this in ancient Sumerian.
Yeah, you have a DNA strand engraved on the motherfucking Sumerian ziggurats.
You have this scientist with a lab coat with a test tube in his hand, and then you have this series of pictures showing the process of genetic splicing and engineering modern man.
Yeah.
Homo sapiens.
And the guy that's got the test tube,
which is supposed to be a slave species to mine gold for, they apparently needed it to protect their atmosphere, or to fill their atmosphere and protect their planet from whatever.
Yeah, it probably had a bunch of different things.
It has multiple uses,
but there was something very, 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 very precious about it for them, especially as it was apparently for us too. But they essentially ended up. Enki ended up giving his semen, and they finally came.
He's ultimately our father.
Yeah, our father. He came in somehow.
Father Enki.
They mixed this concoction together, this alchemical, magical, Kabbalistic, divine harmonic, soul searching, cold soul chamber. Just.
Preach, brother.
No, I'm sorry, man. Just get into it. And Ninti comes out. I remember reading the book. It was so. I thought it was true because I thought about like something. I thought about the Lion King because they said she came out with the Adamu and held him out in the air and said, "I have created."
All right, now this is from Zechariah Sitchin's translation of the Sumerian tablets, which predate pretty much everything else, other than the possibility of H.P. Blavatsky's information predating it. But as far as we know, it predates everything on this planet.
Mhm.
Biblical, Vedic, all of it.
On this dimension,
Egyptian, Babylonian, it predates all of it.
Yeah. So she created the Adamu, which means man. They call it or primordial man, whatever, which means Adam Kadmon, which is Kabbalah, Kabbalistic. But so they have the man, all right? Now the man is running around in a frenzy. Apparently, all the myths and shit that you read about with all these crazy movies that you think, man, that's fucking crazy. There's a half fucking bull, half man. Well, apparently that was really happening whenever they were making in their failure stages of mixing.
Yeah.
And
they tried a lot of shit and they fucked up.
And then they just like release them out to the wild and they're like running crazy out in there, fucking going crazy with half bull, half man guy. And so, what was I going to say? Oh, Adam is a horny little fucker apparently, and he's running around trying to fuck everything, animals and everything. And so Enki, great father Enki, comes in.
Capable of procreating yet.
No, he's not. Enki turned around and he's like, well, why don't we make him a partner? So they knocked him out. What's it called? Whenever you go to the hospital and they knock you out?
Anesthesia.
Anesthesia. They gave Adam an anesthesia. Remember whenever God put him to sleep in Genesis and removed his rib? That surgical procedure.
Put him into a deep sleep.
Mm-hmm. Cloned him
this
without.
Is all in.
They cloned him.
It's all in Genesis.
They were talking about a sheep getting cloned in 1997, and they motherfuckers were cloning men before they were even fucking created as real humanity. Before, god damn, millions of years ago. So they were already cloning. They had that been able to do that shit. So they cloned him with a vagina, without the dick, but womb man, vagina man. Okay, so he could fuck. Now, they haven't done no fucking.
Now, this original guy was named Adamu in the Sumerian tablets.
Yeah.
Does that sound familiar? Adamu? Adam
Man.
in the Genesis in the Bible. Do you think they maybe borrowed this name of primordial man?
Absolutely.
For this story that came along thousands of years later? I would say so. So go on.
Now, the thing about Sumerian, Babylonian, Egyptian, ancient Hebrew is they all used hieroglyphs. Ancient Hebrew used hieroglyphs before they went to a writing system developed by Enoch. They all used hieroglyphs and stuff. And they all kind of had the similar hieroglyph. I started learning how to go A through Z according to hieroglyph. So, like, you got the upside down bull for A, or the ox, it's the biggest of the field. That's why they were worshiping a calf whenever Moses was on the thing, was up on the mountain, because that's the only thing they knew that their God would look like. He's the head beast of the field. He's the top of the alphabet. It's a big ass ox. So we're going to fucking make a goat ox. So anyway, Enki, they get the woman and they're not fucking yet. Well, some motherfucker got really attracted to the woman. I don't know which one it was, but here's where the other sources come in. You got the Book of Enoch. Now, all the Bible says is the Nephilim was on the earth in that time. They were heroes of old, men of renown. They went into the daughters of men and seen that they were fair and had seeds by them or kids by them, and that's it. That's all it says. Don't say nothing else. It's kind of like Enoch. Just kind of, hey, he walked with God. He was perfect, but that's it. God took him by. So you don't know what the fuck this most powerful person who's actually the head of the fucking Kabbalistic tree of life is about. Now, the fucking snake, according to the Book of Enoch, was a being named Samael, and the snake was a symbolic of somebody being sneaky. It could also have been Enki. I've heard that it was. There's all kinds of different things. We don't know. We wasn't there. I'd like to ask Thoth. I'm sure he'll tell me. I know he'll tell me. But there was some kind of sneaky fucker in the Garden of Eden and showed the female sex. They didn't know what sex was. Showed the female sex, had sex with her. It was an Annunaki member, and I believe it was Enki. And he had sex with her and showed her the fruit of knowledge, the fire. And she turned around and she had sex with Adam. Now, the fucking Bible gave like a really fucking religious, okay, your fucking wounds, curse, you fucking whore, all this extra ass shit. That just, I don't know what the fuck, how that came about. They just had to give a reason for everything. And they had such weak backup for it. Like, there's no real proof for anything. They just tell you this is what it is, blah, blah, blah. Now, the Book of Enoch is probably the most powerful, one of the most powerful books I ever read. I know I read it one night. It took me about 7 hours, and I felt completely high when I was done. I felt like I was downloaded a shitload of knowledge, and I did. Okay, this is the seventh seed from Adam, which is ancient. So how in the fuck did he know that the moon got its light from the sun? How do you know how many planets? How do you know about the astrological signs? He talks about the zodiac and that, which the church tells you not to talk about. But the great Enoch who walked with God and God took him, he was talking about the zodiac because the angels were showing him. And not only that, he was actually speaking on behalf of the fallen angels who had sex with the women, which is essentially the Anunnaki. Now, is that to say that I'm trying to remember Enoch's name in Sumerian is different. Either way, Enoch, they go to Enoch in a meditative trance. And so they all, in their astral body, are going on behalf of them to the Creator. Now, is this history repeating itself? I've had that kind of epiphany pop in my mind. Did it happen on an angelic scale? Did it happen on an angelic scale where the fallen angels who were just beings of light did something symbolic to fornication? I mean, that type of stuff pops in my head. So did history repeat itself when the Anunnaki come down and created their own beings? Because history repeated itself whenever they had to create something, just as they were created. Just as now you see us creating robots. You see what I'm saying? It's an evolutionary process. The created becomes the creator. You know what I'm saying? Right. Evolutionary process. You see people now, back then, this is funny. The human women were the Anunnakis and the Watchers sex robots back then. And now you got people now making robots and doing what they want to with them. Just all kind of extra. There'll be robotic life, people fighting for robotic life rights and shit like this one day. You know. But anyway, I just thought that was funny. Sorry. But essentially what happens is they start mixing, and it ain't, what's crazy is it's not just the men deities fucking the human women. It's actually fucking that woman that represents Aphrodite in Greece. I can't remember. It might have been in Nana. Has sex with a human, and it talks about her enjoying it thoroughly. The little guy was getting it in there. Okay. He must have been blessed.
You've got Astarte, Venus, Aphrodite, Inanna.
It was Aphrodite in Greek, but it was whoever Aphrodite was Greek. It was a different name. But I thought it was Inanna. But
we'll figure it out,
man. So she also had sex with a human man. It talks about a specific story where she talks about liking it and this and that, but she was a wife of a god or an Anunnaki, higher up. So King Anu comes down. He sees the abominations that's taken.
It wasn't Nakarsahag, was
it? It very well could have been. It very well could have been because it had to be, because Nakarsahag is not an Enki. That's two different people. They're sisters though. That's like Isis and the other
I'm
woman.
gonna have to go back and read the text.
It's crazy. So
it's been about a year
since
I've actually read it.
I haven't read it in a long time. I'm trying. That's why I'm kind of like stuttering and spacing it all out. I'm trying to remember everything really, but I need to do research before I do a video on stuff like that. There's so much information involved in it because it's very. You got the lines, and then you got this person did this and this and this, and then you got all. What we need is a massive, that whole wall, and to take that whole wall and to put a big piece of paper across that bitch and draw all kinds of shit.
Like and a big old chalkboard.
Yeah.
Connect all the genetic lines.
Yeah, that would be cool. I would do that by myself if I had to, just for fun. But Enki, Anu comes down and he walks on Earth, and he's walking through the garden, you know, and he's looking around and he's seeing these fucking abominations. He's seeing fucking demigods. He's like, why the fuck are these humans as tall as they are, and why are they fucking living to be 900 fucking years old? What's going on here? Because the Anunnaki lived a longer scale because they came from a planet with a much, much, much larger orbit of 3,600 years as opposed to 360 days like us. But remember, it's still 3-6. And I just all think the mathematics and numerology is very important. 9. So they
Wow.
brain fart. They have a
Man, when you get into this and you start
there's so much going on in my
trying
head.
to connect all the dots, there's so much shit. You've got numerology.
Yeah.
You've got the meaning of the words in different languages. You've got all the different texts that tie together. You've got the different deities and the names of the deities that add together.
Yeah.
You've got all this shit, all this information rattling around in your little old brain.
Yeah.
Your conscious mind trying to process all the revelation that your subconscious is picking up from the divine, and then express that to another human being.
Yeah.
What you understand and putting that into words is two different things.
It's hard. It's rough. I'm sorry.
So that's the difficulty that we run into trying to fucking come off the top of the dome after having not read this in a year or so.
Yeah.
And trying to relay all that accurately is a bit of a challenge.
We might want to outline it.
But the story remains the same.
Yeah.
And maybe the names are.
And
what we'll probably do is post the correct names and titles in the description of this video, and then I will blog about this and give the full story directly and post a link in the description of this video to that.
Beautiful.
For anybody who wants to fact check this, and I'll give links to the original sources.
That's very thoughtful of you, Jay.
All right.
That's really cool. Y'all are lucky to have people who care about y'all enough to do things like that. And we're lucky to have people that give a fuck to even be watching our motherfucking asses. So, Anu comes in there, he's pissed off about the abominations, but also the light comes down there, he's pissed off about the angelic abominations. You got giants running around, you got fucking vampire people fucking flying through the night. And he's like, okay, well, fuck that. We're going to knock, this has got to end. We got to erase these abominations.
Anu, Jehovah.
Same fucker.
Same energy, same shit that they said when all this was going on.
Yeah. Same Saturn.
Same flood.
Yeah, same flood.
Same planet Saturn.
There's no one of them cultural things. You got 400 different versions of the flood. Which one's the real? See, and
all of them.
So then some asshole comes along and goes, well, none of them are. They're all just telling you a bunch of bullshit. But that's just to get you fucking even, just to create a war. More polarity. The
hyper-scientific guy that doesn't believe in anything spiritual or any creation story. And he's wrong, too.
Complete agnostic. Don't even know how the fuck he's living. So, Enki doesn't want the fucking human race to die. For one, he enjoys human sex, apparently.
Yeah,
and his son, Marduk, would later become the one who actually married a woman into the bloodline, a human woman into the Annunaki royal bloodline. But Enki, they're going to flood the earth. Enki turns around and he warns of the flood because of his love for humanity. And he warns of the flood to a guy named Noah in Hebrew, but it's 15 other different fucking things. And that's so, like he was saying, it's so hard because you got the Babylonian, Sumerian, it's Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh.
He was fucking...
Noah in the fucking Hebrew Bible.
What you don't know is that, and what they don't tell you is Noah's a demigod. He's half god, half human. He's half alien, half human, or whatever.
They do in the book of Enoch.
Yeah, and Enoch, he'll tell you that shit.
They show that his skin was completely different than anyone else. He was like an albino.
Yeah. It's crazy because he was albino. Yeah, well, he's albino.
And everyone else is black. Because they're in Africa.
Yeah. It's fucking over Enoch. You know Enoch got to be a black motherfucker.
Yeah, white people came from Mars.
Yeah, they did. Nordic. Hitler knew that.
That's another story.
A deity named Janus came and gave Alistair and Hitler that information, they say. They say. Now, they say shit.
Let's put this aside as a project for later on to channel that entity.
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
I want to put that on the to-do list here on my little
shit
tablet. Type that in real quick.
Awesome.
Keep talking, man.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And let me know when you want me to share my story that I channeled from Inanna.
Oh, okay, well, I really want to hear that. Enki fucking becomes Poseidon, Roman. Apparently he turns into a white, long-haired gray hair guy. Then he just says fuck it, becomes Satan altogether, and becomes the, I don't know. That's what they say. And you can either continue to listen to that bullshit about a talking snake, or take it and start using it and use it as fuel, use it as an attraction, and start learning for yourself. Because you don't need us to tell you. We can use us, and we can kind of like open that gate for you, and then pick you up on a frequency higher up a little bit, and kind of help your meditation a little bit, because now you got an idea of something that's going on, something to focus your thought on. And
do your research.
But if you do your research, not only will you find the truth,
because the more I realize that I know, the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know shit. I really know absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I a year ago could tell you this story almost verbatim. I don't really know shit, to tell you the truth. I'm just a dumb motherfucker with a badass brain and a great fucking mind and an awesome god named Thoth to fuck with. I love that guy. God. Wait, God? Is guide and God?
Oh, God.
What the fuck? There's a whole nother topic. Sometimes, man, we just like to have fun on here. You gotta be happy.
Skull.
I want to hear about Inanna.
Skull. That is the Norse way of saying cheers, by the way.
Skull.
You'll hear me say that in the ending of my videos.
Is SKOL?
SKAL. Okay, so
Inanna.
I channeled Inanna the other night, and I kind of did the John D format of channeling, where I was the passive receiver, the channel, and I had someone else perform the incantations and ask the questions, and I simply remained in trance and channeled the answers. So some of the questions I had come up with prior to this was about the Annunaki, the creation mythos, and all of that. And some of the information that I got from Inanna was this, that Enki was primarily involved in our creation, and that they did not create our spirit. Our spirit already existed in another plane, in another dimension, and we were androgynous. We had no gender, male and female simultaneously, and that they had what was called the soul chambers, right, which is read in the text, and that they had learned from their creator how to, in essence, connect this spirit to a fleshly vessel which they had created. They had the technology and kind of the spiritual ability to do so. And so they did. And that is where, and she told me this, that the concept of twin flames comes from, is that you literally were one at one time. You were male and female at once in another plane, in another dimension, as pure spirit, a flame
you wouldn't need them.
that was divided and became male and female. And this experience that we are able to live out in these incarnations, when we are able to find our twin flame, that is why there's such a deep connection of almost being the same person. And you don't always get to find your twin flame in every incarnation. But when you do, you're a lucky motherfucker, because there's such a deep...
That guy
Oh, God.
That guy right there?
I'm married to my twin flame.
He fucking married his twin flame.
I'm telling you, I'm married to my twin flame right now. But she said that is not a metaphorical situation, the situation of the twin flame. That is a literal thing, that you were one at one time. That you literally were one person, one spiritual entity, and you have been divided into a male and a female aspect.
Just as the creator is one spiritual entity.
And if you are fortunate enough in a lifetime to unite with your twin flame, okay, just as the creator is male and female, there's mother and father, there's divine feminine, divine masculine. Because we are in the image of the creator, we are part of the creator. Just as a leaf is part of a tree, we are part of the Creator. And so, what else was I going to talk about? Just keep talking and it'll come to me, and I'll interrupt you.
Well, it's just one of my favorite books in the verses in the Bible is Genesis 3:23, and behold, God has become man like us to know, man has become God like us to know good from evil.
Okay, so in Genesis it says, and I quote, "And God said, let us make man in our image." Now the original Hebrew language text, the Bible is written in Aramaic, Hebrew, Greek, and small parts of Latin. Okay, this quote from Genesis, the original text says, "And Elohim said, let us make man in our image." Elohim is plural. Anytime in the Hebrew language a word ends with H-I-M, him, or I-M, im, that is a plural. El is God. Elohim is the gods. So literally, the text says in Genesis of the Hebrew Bible, the gods said, let us make man in our image.
That's right.
Your English translation says that, but it does not say the gods. It says God. Now let me ask you this. In what grammatical universe can you say God, singular, said, let us make man in our image? A singular proper noun says, I am now a plural pronoun. God said, let us. What the fuck?
What the fuck does that mean? That makes no sense.
They don't discuss that at all. They just gloss over that and say, well, it was Jesus and the Holy Spirit and the Father. Well, why didn't the fucking...
Some guy that said, you know what, if they question God, fuck them. We wrote that. God did too. Fuck it.
I don't know where the fuck...
I want to talk about the Elohim for a minute.
There's
so many beautiful things that the gods of the Elohim are. It's the masculine, feminine. It could be the dark, the light, the God, the devil. It could be
Anu, Enki, and Enlil.
It could be the fucking Trinity.
The Anunnaki.
Father, son, father, mother, kid.
Okay.
And it could be the Kabbalistic tree of life, because all those spheres.
It's all of that.
It's all that. And that's what it is. It's everything.
It's everything. It's all of that. It's everything that you can imagine that it could be. But there's another word that's used in the Hebrew language, which is Anakim.
Anakim, which means
Anakim.
Those from where the stars.
It's the same thing as Anunnaki.
Yeah, it's the Anunnaki.
And that word is from the Egyptian Book of the Dead. There's another word that corresponds to it there.
Yeah. That's how I started learning.
Oh
Remember?
My God!
I
have this Bible.
He had a Messianic Bible.
The One New Man Bible.
It was awesome.
It's a Messianic Hebrew Jewish Bible, and it's a more literal translation of the Hebrew text into English, and it is still from a Messianic Jewish dogmatic perspective, absolutism of the one God being Jehovah, and his son, his one and only son, being Yeshua. So it does have an agenda, but still the translations have a lot of value.
Way better than your regular Bible.
The
Lord's Prayer.
Way better than the perverted King James pedophile child molester Bible.
Yeah. The Lord's Prayer is unbelievable in there. It's a whole other thing. It ain't even the fucking same thing. It's more of a
command than a request.
It's a command because he is God. I am.
I am.
You have to.
It puts you in the place of I am because you are.
Exactly. It's like a ritual. Banishment.
It's like the occult with a Judeo-Christian twist on it in this Bible, the Lord's Prayer.
It's beautiful. Hell, the greatest magician of all time to me, maybe. Well, I don't know. Maybe the greatest human magician of all time.
I'm trying to remember what else Inanna told me that I wanted to say.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Because when I channel these things, I don't remember them.
It's hard, yeah. I still don't remember from that.
That's why I either record it on my phone or I write the answers down, because I won't remember it the next, within a couple of hours, I've already forgot what was said.
There was something big said last night with me and Thoth that other dude remembered. And when he said it, I said, okay, I do remember that. And then I really haven't really remembered nothing since then. It's been too hectic of a day for one. I haven't really took too much time to focus within today, but I will. And we're gonna probably go ahead and end this video. Me and him got some business to take care of, and we all got lives to take care of. I got kids, and he's got a wife and a kid on the way, and so basically he's living knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. He's performing the Holy Trinity, which is really the man, woman, and the child. That is the Holy Trinity.
That's it.
Every aspect. The Kabbalah tree of life cannot continue on without that Trinity.
Father, Son, and Holy Spirit is really Father, Mother, and Holy Spirit. I mean, Father, Son, and Mother, because the Holy Spirit, Ruach, in Hebrew, is a feminine word, and you can ask any rabbi, any Jewish scholar, and they will tell you that the Ruach, the Holy Spirit, the wind,
Shekinah,
is feminine.
Yes.
And with that, this is J.A. Ragnarson and Aman El Ramata.
Yeah. Man, y'all take care of yourself.
Let me tell you something. Manifest that shit.
Manifest that shit. And one more thing. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was bullshit. But in the beginning was the truth, and the truth was God, and the truth was with God. And in the beginning was the light, and the light was God, and the light was with God. In the beginning was the sound was God, and the sound was with God. In the beginning was the symbol, and the symbol was God, and the symbol was with God. In the beginning was the octave, the vibration, and the vibration was God, and the vibration was with God.
The message.
You see where we're going with this? It takes, oh my God, I'm in it. Oh, I can't even see. Don't reveal me.